Another quarter wrapped up. And if you're like most Singapore investors, you're probably staring at the headlines and wondering, is the market really as resilient as it looks? On one hand, recession fears are still hanging over the US and Europe. Rates are high, geopolitics is heating up. Yet here in Singapore, our Straits Times Index just touched new highs above 4,300. Property remains red hot, and local tech stocks like C and Grab are suddenly looking credible again. That's the tension. Is this momentum sustainable, or are we missing the risks under the surface? In this video, I'll break down Singapore's Q3 2025 market story, section by section, where the strength came from, which sectors took off, the macro forces you should keep an eye on, and what actions to take with your CPF, SRS, and cash portfolios for Q4 and beyond. By the end, you'll walk away with a clear roadmap, not just a recap. This video is adapted from my latest Substack deep dive, where you'll find all the charts, checklists, and written breakdown. Links in the description if you want the full written playbook. I'm Iggy, your investing iguana, sharing frameworks, not hype, so you can grow wealth steadily in Singapore's unique market. Here's how today's roadmap flows. First, the spark behind Singapore's Q3 surge. Next, a breakdown of the STI's numbers and sector drivers. Then, how global forces shape the quarter. A deep dive into industries that surprised. The economic indicators that matter most. The Q4 outlook and portfolio strategies. And my Iggy takeaway, a personal verdict on how you can position now. Let's get into it. Q3 2025 was fascinating for Singapore. While global markets groaned under inflation and high US rates, Singapore carved its own path again. The big standout? Local tech made a comeback. C Limited grew e-commerce transaction values by 25% year-on-year in the first half. Grab's revenue rose 23% in Q2. Both shifted focus toward profitability, trimming costs while boosting efficiency. For the first time, investors saw Singapore tech not as a risky growth play, but as credible, sustainable businesses. Meanwhile, property refused to cool down. Even with global housing markets softening, Singapore stayed strong. Why? Buyers here are well capitalized. Property is a trusted inflation hedge. Cooling measures prevent speculative blow-ups, but core demand, especially for quality HDB resale and prime units, remains firm. The foundation is Singapore's strategic mix of industries, disciplined policy, and fiscal buffers. Resilience is baked into the system. Quick thought for you. If property here is seen as an inflation shield, is your own portfolio set up with similar stability? How do your assets absorb shocks? The STI rose 2% this quarter, 8% year to date, closing just shy of 4,300. That's ahead of many Asian peers. Stability wasn't luck, it was structure. The index leans on mature, cash-flush sectors. Banks, DBS, OCBC, UOB. These anchors enjoy steady loan demand, even as net interest margins narrow. DBS even hit record revenue, letting banks raise dividends. Tech, the rebound of C and Grab lifted sentiment. Property and REITs held steady as rates rose less than feared, while demand remained firm. So the STI acted like a sturdy ship in choppy waters, powered by reliable engines, banks, tech, and real estate. Question: do you think the STI stability makes it a defensive index, or does it just hide the market's hotter moving parts? Breaking it down further, financials carried the quarter with solid capital ratios. Tech stole attention with profit improvements. REITs and property benefited from easing rate pressure, especially in industrial and data center assets. But consumer staples and telcos? Flat, safe, but uninspiring, like ballast on a ship. So banks provided lift, tech provided spark, and REITs added balance, while staples just kept the boat stable. By the way, if you want to see all the actual tables and checklists I've built for this quarter, like sector scorecards and my portfolio strategy matrix, grab the post on Substack. Links below. The video gives you the narrative, but the post has the full playbook. The US Fed held interest rates steady, with cuts only signaled for 2026. That kept investors cautious about rate-sensitive assets. China's growth stabilized, but property challenges lingered, dragging trade-sensitive Singapore stocks. And amid all that, Singapore's stability acted like a magnet. Money flowed in, pushing the Singapore dollar higher and boosting blue-chip valuations. We became a kind of safe deposit box for global capital. Isn't it interesting how Singapore benefits not just from what we do here, but from how unstable the rest of the world looks? Beyond banks and tech, a few surprises stood out. Advanced manufacturing, ST engineering, venture, and mid-caps gained traction. Global supply chain diversification favors Singapore as a trusted hub. Healthcare tech, P-Life, REIT, IHIS, and MedTech grew steadily thanks to government initiatives. Tourism and hospitality, SIA and F and B-linked REITs surged on stronger tourism. On the flip side, discretionary retail lagged. Cautious consumers, discounting, and sluggish demand kept stores weak. Here's the lesson. The growth isn't only in the headline sectors. The quieter winners, manufacturing, healthcare, are building momentum under the radar. The economy grew 4.4% year on year in Q2, with strong contributions from manufacturing, services, and construction. That momentum pushed the full-year forecast up to 2.5%. Inflation? Surprisingly tame. Core inflation slipped to 0.5% in July, helped by cheaper services and food. MAS kept policy steady, letting the SGD gradually strengthen. That strong dollar makes imports cheaper, helping households, while also boosting returns on SGD-denominated assets. Unemployment nudged up to 2.0%, but job vacancies also rose. Tech and finance still hire actively, though wage growth cooled. Upskilling remains a priority as we shift toward innovation-driven growth. Translation for investors: stable inflation, steady FX, strong GDP. Singapore remains one of the most investable markets in the region. What themes matter now? Interest rate plateau, with cuts expected in 2026, REITs and rate-sensitive assets get breathing room. Tech resilience, see and grab lead, but profits matter more than growth at any cost. Singapore core plays: banks, property, healthcare, solid dividends, and defensive strength. Safe haven appeal. SGD assets and blue chips stand out when global markets look shaky. So Q4 is about playing defense while staying open to selective growth. Here's where we bring it back to your CPF, SRS, and cash positions. REITs and CPF or SRS. Add quality names like Ascendas, Parkway Life, and CICT. Forecasts show dividend growth of about 4% in FY25. Banks stay anchored in DBS, OCBC, UOB for yield and diversification. Tech exposure, stick to see and grab, but only in measure. Keep risk discipline tight. Diversify into stable growers. Advanced manufacturing, precision engineering, and healthcare are good medium-term engines. Rebalance. Take profits on winners, redistribute into steady sectors. This isn't about chasing the quarter's hot stocks. It's about building balance and durability into your portfolio. Everything hinges on the Fed pivot. If cuts come in 2026, REITs benefit from cheaper refinancing. Property demand rises as mortgages ease. Tech and growth stocks attract inflows. SGD strengthens as global funds seek stability. It's like a domino line. The Fed's move tumbles across REIT profits, property prices, tech momentum, and even FX strategies. Singapore's Q3 showed why we still stand out. Banks stayed rock solid. Tech proved it can be profitable, not just exciting. Real assets like logistics properties and data centers kept paying off. For Q4 strategy, stick with local banks for stability and dividends. Stay picky in tech, leaning towards Singapore's digital priorities like fintech and AI. Diversify into advanced manufacturing and healthcare for long-term growth. Keep monitoring global rates, because the Fed's decisions remain the key domino. The sweet spot is balance. Defensive plays that keep your CPF and SRS steady, plus targeted bets on Singapore's growth engines for the next decade. Question for you. Which part of your portfolio today feels most aligned with Singapore's future economy, and which part feels most exposed to global turbulence? So to recap, Q3 was powered by banks, tech, and property resilience. Global instability ironically boosted Singapore as a safe haven. The best plays for Q4 are banks, selective tech, REITs, and growing niches like healthcare and advanced manufacturing. And everything in 2026 comes down to interest rates. You can take these lessons into your Singapore investing journey with confidence. If this breakdown helped you, please hit like, share it with a friend, and subscribe. And if you want the full charts, data tables, and decision checklists, head over to my Substack. The link is in the description. That's where you can also upgrade to a paid membership and get my premium Singapore market playbooks every month. I'm Iggy, the investing iguana. Thanks for spending your time here. And let's keep investing smarter on our little red dot.